24/7.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Living with COVID, your one-stop shop to understanding how to grapple with the small and big questions as we deal with the new normal. We have a panel of expert doctors who will be answering all our questions. Dr. Rajashri Mukhopadhyay, visiting consultant and HOD at the Department of Endocrinology, joining us from the Health World Hospital in Durgapur. We have Dr. Idris Ahmad Khan. He's a consultant interventional cardiologist, joining us from the Bombay Hospital in Indore. We have Dr. Vipin VP. He's a specialty certificate in endocrinology and diabetes, joining us from the Aster Medicity Hospital in Kochi. Appreciate you, doctors, for sparing the time of day to answer our questions. I want to begin, Dr. Mukhopadhyay, if I can, with you. Patients at this moment extremely insecure of visiting hospitals and clinics, especially for testing and follow-up. What's the advice that you would give? How would you like to inspire confidence?
Well, first we need to understand what is this virus and how it spreads. So as we know that this virus spread from person to person and from fomite. Fomite means if you touch a surface and if you are an infected person, then a next person who comes and touch it, he can get infected. So keeping that in mind, to prevent this virus from transferring from person to person, we have to maintain distance. So as we know that Government of India has already recommended to keep a distance of about 2 meters between two persons and wear face mask. And not only that, we need to make sure that we are putting hand sanitizer whenever we are planning to touch our facial region.
Right. All right. I think, that's very crucial advice, and I think that's broad-based advice that should be followed irrespective of wherever you're going. But Dr. Khan, if I can ask you the same question, you work at a hospital, in Indore. We know that Madhya Pradesh has also been among the worst affected COVID-19 states. How safe is it for people to be visiting hospitals at a time like this? What about people who need procedures or in tests that need to be conducted? What's the advice that you give them?
Okay, one needs to understand that visiting a hospital is not going to be any more hazardous than visiting a mall or a salon or a sabzi mandi for that matter. See, you are going to come in contact with people who may be harboring the virus. You may come in contact with surfaces that might again be harboring virus and may pass on the infection to you. Now the thing is that whatever way the virus approaches, it is ultimately going to reach your body through your airways, through your nose and mouth. It's going to go through your airways only. So if you are properly covering your face and nose with a good mask, which stays snugly fit on your face, you are keeping your hands sanitized, cleaned again and again, repeatedly, then the chance of getting the infection, whether in the hospital or anywhere else, it becomes negligible. So if you need some mandatory tests, see if you are having chest pain, if your blood pressure is uncontrolled, or if your sugar is going haywire, hospital is the safest place for you to visit actually.
Okay.
So you need not be bothering about that you might catch the infection, but it is mandatory for you to go to the hospital keeping these precautions in mind.
Right.
And get it done.
All right. I think that's very important advice because, in that fear of going to a hospital, you might actually end up doing more damage than good for yourself. And if you're exhibiting any kind of symptoms that need medical attention, you absolutely must seek it. Dr. Vipin, is there anything that you'd like to add, any advice that you'd like to give your patients at this time, especially those who are wondering whether it is safe to access healthcare facilities?
Definitely. Actually, I agree with both the speakers because we know that
COVID infection is spreading all over India. So those people who are having any chronic medical conditions like diabetes, hypertension, or heart disease, definitely they should have the periodic checkup at hospital, because as everyone was saying, because in hospital itself we are having checking at the entrance itself whether you are having fever, the contact history is noted, and if you are having anything, those who are having high risk, then they should be categorized to a specific area like a fever clinic or something like that. Other patients can safely come into the hospital for their routine visit and consult their doctor without any problem. We are equipped with all the standard precautions like a face mask, and many of the doctors are using a face shield also, and hand sanitizers are kept everywhere in the hospital so that patients coming to the hospital can access them and can use them, and we can follow the standard precautions anywhere, even if it is in the hospital or in the mall or in the travel places.
Okay, I think it's very important that we also talk about patients who are suffering from, the most common chronic conditions, and what is the advice that each of you doctors would like to give them. So Dr. Rajeshri, if I can come to you, and if you'd like to give advice to people who are suffering from diabetes, what are the do's and don'ts for them in the midst of this pandemic?
Diabetes, hypertensive, those who have other chronic diseases like kidney disease, they are having high chance of getting the infection. However, it has also been seen, if diabetes is well controlled, probably they are not as susceptible to infection as probably any other common person. Hence, I would request all the diabetic people to check their blood sugar and keep it as normal as possible. Especially the HbA1c need to be kept less than 7 if possible. And for that, they need to be in constant touch with their treating physician.
Right.
And on top of that, I would also recommend them to do regular exercise and take green leafy vegetables and less of high fat diet, because these are the precautions which can go in a long way to stop the COVID coming.
Okay. Very interesting. Dr. Khan, would you like to address this for cardiac patients as well? What's the advice that you'd like to give them at this point? What are the do's and don'ts?
Yeah. The thing is that if you are simply a hypertensive patient and you have facility of, say, monitoring your blood pressure with some home monitoring machine at home, there is no need to visit the hospital just for the sake of it. Secondary, if you are having some postponed kind of tests which you need to do, say, every 6 months or every few months, it may be all right that if you actually delay these tests or procedures for the time being. But if at all you have any change in your symptoms or any change in the intensity of your symptoms, say you suppose you start becoming more breathless or you start feeling breathless, which you were not early on, if you have some chest pain which you think was not so much severe early on, or it came on, say, lesser activities, these are the symptoms that should alarm you, and these are the symptoms which should bring you to the hospital instead of delaying it, because in that case you may end up with a major problem later on. So avoid unnecessary visits. Yes. Anything which can be delayed, it should be avoided. But if you are having something untoward, do visit the hospital.
Dr. Vipin, if I can ask you about people who are suffering from obesity and hypertension, this time of the COVID-19 pandemic has actually been very stressful for them. Many people who were doing regular exercise or outdoor activities, aren't doing it. And of course, the stress level has been very high as well.
Any patient who is having hypertension and obesity, the chance of getting a COVID infection is similar to any other people. So they don't have to panic, first of all. And second thing is, if your blood pressure is not controlled properly, their likelihood of getting, if their risk of likelihood of getting a severe infection is on the higher side. So it is better to control the blood pressure, as Dr. Khan was saying, measure the blood pressure once or twice in a week, and take your antihypertensive medication regularly, so that you can keep your blood pressure under control. If your blood pressure is under control, your chances of getting the severe infection is also similar to any other patient. Regarding obesity, we know that if a patient with obesity gets a COVID infection, it can be serious because they are already having a compromised cardiovascular as well as pulmonary function. They are having reduced immunity to COVID as well as other infections, and they are also prone for other metabolic conditions like
Right.
diabetes, hypertension as well. So what they have to look is, do not gain further weight during the COVID times, even if they're sitting at home and they are quarantined or etc. But they should be doing some amount of exercise, at least walking in and around the home or inside the
Right.
home, so that they can keep fit and do not gain further weight during the COVID time.
All right, so keep that exercise going. I think that's the advice that's coming in from all doctors. But at a time when we can't really step out, how do you manage chronic conditions at home? We'll pose that question to our panel of expert doctors on the other side of a very short break. Stay tuned.
Knowledge Partner, USV, your reliable healthcare partner.
Welcome back. So the big question on how to deal with chronic conditions and manage those conditions at home at a time when most people are still wondering or insecure on whether they should in fact be going to hospitals. Dr. Rajashree, would you like to give advice to diabetes patients on how they can manage these conditions at home?
Yes. First of all, the patient should not be, keeping himself confined to the home, because as in the beginning we have said, the virus transfers from people to people if they are quite nearby, like within 2 meters distance, and they are not wearing face masks. So do not forget about your exercise. You can go outside in a open place with your mask on and do some brisk walking. Take healthy food. This is for all chronic patients actually. So take healthy foods, like those foods which are rich in proteins, vitamins, like green leafy vegetables. Do your workout every day, as well as walking outside in an empty space.
Right. And that's, I think, something that people need to try and continue even at a time like this. Dr. Khan, if I can ask you, what about cardiac patients? How can they reduce the risk of infection at the same time build on their immunity?
The best way to reduce the risk is to stay at home. So if unnecessarily venturing out of the home has to be avoided at all costs, for whatever purposes.
Yes.
Second, even if you have to venture out at all, then you have to be properly covering your face and nose with a proper mask. See, I must point out here that I see patients every day and their masks, they keep on slipping from above their nose to their chins and all. People are hanging it around their necks. They don't wear them properly. This is not a helmet to be shown to some traffic police. You have to wear it all the time and properly. That is the only way of avoiding the infection if you are out of the house. So stay at home if at all. And if you need to go out, wear a proper mask and keep your hands sanitized. I keep on repeating this. I'm sorry, but that is absolutely necessary for every patient. And when you are at home, it's as has been pointed out, keep exercising. Keep walking from one room to another if you have a space constraint. Do yogasan if you have a space constraint. And if you can go out actually, and there are no people around you walking, you may not need to wear the mask at that time. And if somebody approaches you even to say hello, pull up your mask again.
All right. So very important advice there. Dr. Vipin, is there anything that you'd like to add about patients who are suffering from thyroid or hypertension? How can they build on their immunity? What are some of the good practices to follow at home?
Yeah, first of all, those people who are having hypertension as well as thyroid disease, they should stop their medicines for at least 1 to 2 months, because there should not be any shortage of their medications. And second thing is, take your medications regularly. Do not miss the doses, or do not postpone your doses. That is also important. And third thing is, patients with hypertension, they should hydrate themselves. Drink plenty of water unless and until you are having any comorbid condition like a heart failure or a kidney failure. Otherwise, you drink plenty of water, hydrate yourself. So that also reduces the complication because of this one. And check your blood pressure at least once in 2 weeks and make sure that your blood pressure is under control. Any warning signs, any persistent blood pressure more than 160/90, or any swelling of the legs or face, or any breathlessness, they should consult their doctor. For thyroid, they should control the thyroid medication regularly, and they should be aware of the side effects of this thyroid medication when the patient is having hyperthyroidism. If they're taking the medication, if they are developing some rash, itching, jaundice, or any fever with sore throat, they should stop their medication and contact the healthcare practitioner immediately. And to boost the immunity, as everyone was saying, take good nutritious food, especially green leafy vegetables as well as fruits.
Right.
And they can also take some amount of vitamin C, vitamin D, as well as B complexes as well to boost up the immunity.
All right. Dr. Khan, if I can ask you, a more specific question. A number of people are afraid of continuing with hypertension medication like ARBs as well as ACE inhibitors. Are these medicines safe to use during COVID-19?
Yeah, the single word answer is yes, they are absolutely safe, and there is absolutely no need for any medication to be changed, whether or not they are ACE inhibitors or ARBs. If your blood pressure is getting controlled with the current medication that you have been prescribed right now, just continue on them. Do not try to change them. If you are on ACE and ARB, you are going to be better off continuing them rather than stopping them.
Dr. Vipin, if I can come back to you, there are several people who have got on with their regular lives, whatever may be the terms and conditions of the new normal. Shops are open, banks are open, public transport is open to, a restrictive measure. Restaurants have begun to open, malls are now open. As India opens up and as we enter different phases of unlock, what are some of the cardinal rules for people who have to deal with the number of people on a daily basis? Shopkeepers, people who are working in malls, public transport, or people, who are exposed to large number of people every day. What are some of the cardinal rules for them?
Yeah, definitely what they should mind is their safety is their most important thing to them, and it is in their hands. So use the standard precautions. Always wear a mask. And if you are sitting in a counter or you are dealing with so many people, always wear a face shield also if possible, and do not allow so many people to come in directly. If you are in a shop or in a bank or a restaurant, you can restrict the number to 2 to 3 people at a time, so that you can prevent the crowding over there, so that you can keep the social distancing also. And always encourage the people coming to your area to use the hand sanitizers, as well as practice the hand hygiene measures as well. And also avoid close interactions with them. You can have a physical distancing by you can tie up a rope or something, barricades or something like that, so that you can have a distance of 1.5 to 2 meters and you can talk to them. And avoid waiting period also. Don't ask them to or make them wait for a long time in a bank or shop, so that exposure time can be prevented.
So waiting and crowding are two things that one can of course manage. Those are just logistical issues. But it's very interesting that you talk about the use of masks and face shields, and more people we're seeing now are using face shields. Are they effective when combined with masks?
Definitely, because actually if you can see that mask, as Dr. Khan was mentioning, because many of the people may not be wearing the mask properly. So if you put a shield on top of your mask, the chances of getting infection into your face or the droplet infection or any form or any sort of infection coming to your face is very less. And it adds to the protection on top of the mask. Definitely. So if you are having a face-to-face interaction with any people, so definitely it is better to wear a face shield as well.
But Dr. Vipin, if I can then just ask you a very quick follow-up question. We've talked extensively on this show about mask etiquette. We've had doctors who've come in and explained, what one needs to do in order to sanitize masks if you're reusing them. What about face shields? Can you reuse them? And what should be the procedure to sanitize them?
Yes, all these face shields are basically made of plastic or glass most likely. So after the use, every 4 hourly or 6 hourly, you can use an alcohol-based hand rub or any solution in a cotton to wipe this outer surface, so that it can be reused on a daily basis. No need to change it every day.
Okay, I'm going to give the last question to Dr. Rajshri. Dr. Rajshri, there have been a lot of questions that people have. Almost everyone has. Parents or elders at home, what about them? What are the kind of special precautions that need to be taken for them at home, or if they are visiting public places? What are some of the do's and don'ts when it comes to elderly people? And also, I mean, a lot of young people have this question as well, that if you are stepping out and going to work, is it safe to come home and meet with your parents and interact with them?
This is a question need to be addressed because that this disease is very new and every day we are getting newer statistics. So all the statistics currently suggest that those who are old, they are high chance of getting this disease and severe disease. So as you know that this disease, about 80% of them don't get a severe disease and 20% of them get severe disease, and of that 5% get very severe disease that is need to be admitted, and most of them, at least in the Western countries, are elderly people. But coming to India, you can see that there are many people, younger generation people are also getting severely infected. So coming to your question of elderly people, the most important point for them will be to keep home, inside the home as much as possible.
Right.
And as I have said in the previously also, that if it is a free place where you know that there is nobody around, then you can go and have some exercise, but always carry your mask and hand sanitizer with you. And if it is at all necessary to go to a hospital or a clinic, then as we have already discussed, that try to keep distance from other people of at least 2 meters. If that is not possible, then as we have already suggested, to put a face shield if possible, because that
Right.
also keep along with the mask a distance from the other people. And regarding the young people who are working, coming back thinking that they might be carrying with them virus, then it is better to identify a isolation room where you
Right.
can put all your stuff there first,
Okay.
then
So,
have a bath,
right.
and then put those soiled clothes in a detergent solution. As you know, this virus is very easily destroyed by the soap and detergents.
Right.
So if you keep them 10 minutes, the virus will be destroyed and you have cleaned yourself. And after that, you can come and speak with your parents.
All right. So there is, an SOP rather that should in fact be followed when you're dealing with elderly people, especially parents. And, as India's cases continue to increase by the thousands on a daily basis, deaths too continue to rise. I think the advice that our panel of expert doctors has shared has been extremely valuable and useful. Thank you so much, doctors, for sparing the time of day and answering our questions.